Hey guys, nothingwired.com, and we're back with a new camera. Sony is clearly trying to consolidate its DSLR product line, and this could well be the first example of it consolidating the entry-level price point. We have the Sony Alpha SLT A58 here, which kind of sits between the A37 and A57, both in terms of price as well as features. It sacrifices some feature to bring the price down to about 32,990K, and it also adds a few nifty new features and also a brand new image processing engine and a sensor. So let's go ahead and quickly unbox this for you. The Alpha A58 comes in a fairly usual orange and black Sony box, as you can see, and this box is fairly compact for a DSLR body. So looking at the box, you can say that it is in fact an entry-level DSLR and should have a fairly small body, because this box also contains the kit lens. So let's go ahead and open the box and see what's in the box. So once I open the box, again you see pretty familiar arrangement in the box. You first have the documents, you have the warranty card here, and then some service center information. Then we have information on their software, that's Play Memories Home, and then some accessories guide, then you have some lens guide, and then your quick start guide in various languages. We explore further in, and we get to the body here. I'll show that to you later. We get to the kit lens here, that's the shoulder strap. Then you should have the battery here. So it's an NP FM 500H battery, 1650 mAh. Then we have a power cord, Western 3-pin, and then we have another power cord, Western 2-pin. There you see. And then we have another power cord, Indian round pin one. And then we also have an adapter that this guy goes into. So this model goes world over. Sony provides all kind of power cords so that you do not feel the need to have an adapter in your country. You have the USB cable here, and then the wall adapter. So all power cords go in here, and then the battery goes in here, and you can charge this. Yep. So let's check out the camera body now. So there we have the Alpha A58. Let's remove this, and you can see straight away it has a fairly tiny body actually. Not very heavy, but not feather light either. We'll come back to it in a while. Let's check out the kit lens. So the Alpha 58 comes with a brand new 1855mm 3.5 to 5.6 lens here. It's cosmetically enhanced than the last one. It also has a better, more silent autofocus motor. As you can see, SAM2. SAM meaning smooth automatic motor, the SAM version 2, it has a more silent autofocus motor than the last one. So you have the zoom ring here, the no aperture ring. Yeah, so this one standalone cost about $220 in the US. And that's pretty much about it. So there we go. That's the body. The Sony Alpha SLT A58 has a pretty small body, fit for an entry-level DSLR. It also is one of the lightest body we've seen in the entry-level DSLR categories, although not the lightest one. It weighs about 492 grams when you include the battery and SD card, not as light as the Canon 100D, which weighs just over 400 grams, but it won't exactly put strain on your hand when you operate it continuously with one hand. Now the whole body has a very nice matte metal mount and with patches of rubbers in places where you would hold the camera. You also have this tilting monitor here. Would have liked it to be 270-degree articulating, but then that's how it is. So you can only look at the monitor from above or from below, but not from the sides. Sony employs a brand new 20.1 Exmor APS HD sensor that sits right behind this mirror. It also has the translucent mirror technology, which means the part of light goes through this mirror and hits the sensor that's sitting behind it. Also, part of the light reflects from this mirror and hit another sensor here above. What it does is that it eliminates the need for the mirror to flap up while exposing the film. So you can continuously take photos. That means the burst mode, the burst speed increases. You can also look at the subject while taking photo. Means there is no blackout time while the film is exposed. The flip side is that the view through a translucent mirror becomes dimmer than the usual mirror. So when you're operating at a really small aperture, let's say f16 or f22, you almost see nothing. So it's important that Sony employs an electronic viewfinder. This is not an optical viewfinder, because when the things get really dim, when you look through it, the EVF can digitally enhance the view so that you do not lose your subject in darkness. On the front, as you can see, the lens ring and the mirror there, you also have the cool IR sensor there, the lens release button, then you have an exposure preview button there, also your autofocus manual focus button. Does not have DMF, so you cannot manually override your autofocus at any time. There is the the flash pop out button there. Here you have the lone command dial, there is no secondary command dial. On top you have the power lever plus the shutter release button. You have the digital zoom button, the ISO button. Then you have the finder or LCD switch buttons here, eyelets for your lanyard, shooting mode dial, you have your mic, and then the accessory hot shoe. This way you have the speaker, your DC in there, and then you have 3 ports here, the jack for your external mic, then you have a mini HDMI out, and then your multi-interface micro USB port. This side you have one SD card slot. On the back you have the menu is in a pretty unusual position here. We generally see menu somewhere here. However, you do not exactly need to operate this menu very frequently with the right hand. I'll tell you why. Because you have the FN button here that pretty much takes care of all the quick functions. So this menu is for the functions that you want to set once, and then you do not alter them very often. So it's okay if the menu is placed here. You have the dedicated video button, which is in the most perfect place that I have seen in at least an entry-level DSLR. Then you have the auto exposure lock here, exposure compensation scale, your FN button as I just showed you, your 4-way dial, display, your white balance settings, creativity settings here, and then your self timer and multiple shot modes. Pressing this will check and change your autofocus to a subject tracking one. You have a playback button here, and then your help aka the delete button. All these buttons of course act differently when you're in the playback menu. This will zoom in, zoom out, this will go to the thumbnail mode, and this will delete the photo. Yep. So below you have the tripod socket and your battery compartment. So that's the 2.7-inch LCD monitor. So that's about it about the hardware. So all in all, it's one of the best and most good looking piece of camera body that we've seen in the entry-level space. Sony is always known for their designing, and it shows everywhere. Now let's check out the lens here, and it goes right here. You match the orange point to this orange point there and turn it towards the lens release button. To open it, simply press the lens release button and move and open it. Just note that whenever you're releasing or fitting the lens, always switch off this. We've again seen one of the best quality lens caps that Sony makes, and there you can see. So the mark DT means that this is for a cropped body, as it's an APS sensor 23.5 by 15.4 mm. This lens is meant for this and not for a full frame body like the Alpha 99. It has an aperture range of 3.5 till 5.6, and zoom range is from 18 to 55 mm. SAM2, as I told you before, it's a better and more silent autofocus motor than the previous one. It takes 55 mm filters there. It also has mostly metal mounts, very smooth zoom ring, so you can toggle between autofocus and manual focus here. By the way, even if your lens does not have an autofocus motor, but then this body has an built-in autofocus motor, so even if your lens does not have that, you can operate that lens with this. This is very hard to find in an entry-level DSLR, mind you. You do not find it in a Nikon entry-level DSLR, be it the 3000 or the 5000 series. You also do not find it in 100D and some of the other entry-level Canon DSLRs. So again, another point where Sony really gives you a mid-level DSLR feature in an entry-level body. Yeah. Let's check out the user interface now. So I'm gonna switch on the camera here, and you will see a number of information on your display screen. You can toggle the amount of information that you want to show by pressing the display button here. So there you see no information at all, your histogram, something else, and then some other information. The shooting mode dial has a number of shooting modes, of course, starting with 2 auto modes. So you have the superior auto and the intelligent auto. Apart from that, you have the program, aperture priority, shutter priority, full manual mode, a movie mode, a burst mode of a maximum of 8 frames per second. You have a creativity picture effect mode, then your sweep panorama, scene mode, and then an auto mode with flash off. Now in intelligent auto mode, you can see the flash fires automatically. And by the way, the flash also has a pretty cool way of popping out. So first, the FN button, with the help of which you can toggle some of the functions of the camera. You have the drive mode here, which is the continuous shooting and self timer mode. Press FN to go back. Then you have your flash modes, your autofocus mode, autofocused area modes, then your lock on autofocus, which is, by the way, a new feature in the Alpha 58. And then you have the smile, face detection, auto object framing, again a new feature. You have your ISO settings there, then your metering mode, flash compensation, your white balance, and some auto HDR, your creative style, and some other functions. Let's talk about the lock on autofocus. Now what it does is that it identifies the subject, and once it does it, it forms a frame around the subject to signify that it autofocus locked on the subject. And as the subject moves, the frame continuously grows or shrinks according to the size of the subject, and the moment you press, that subject will be in focus. It's pretty cool when you're particularly shooting, let's say, sports or your fast moving pet. You also have a new feature called auto object framing, which again identifies up to 2% in a portrait mode and then automatically crops the photo so that you both get the maximum emphasis. It sometimes cuts the important environment elements though, but most of the time it's perfect. So that's the FN button. You can go to the detailed menu button, which is pretty similar to your Alpha series of DSLR cameras. You have your image size. There you can see maximum 20 MP in 3:2 aspect ratio. The moment you switch to widescreen, the maximum image size comes down to 17 MP. So it's your own choice. Basically, I would like to keep it in 20 MP. You have a quality. You can shoot either in only RAW or JPEG, or only JPEG in fine or standard quality. Then some other settings here. There, see, so your record settings, as you can see, the maximum it goes in PAL mode is up to 50i. It does not shoot at 50p, that is progressive, so this is interlaced. 24 m in speed, then 25p, that's progressive. You have your optical steady shot, wind noise reduction, and some other usual settings that you have there. There you see, so you can assign the ISO button to other functions as well, but I would prefer to keep it as ISO. Then you again have your shooting setup and system settings here. The menu does not differ in playback mode. So once you go to the playback mode, if you press menu, it typically stays the same. Yeah. So depending on the shooting mode that you're shooting at, some of these menu items might become unavailable. Menu and there. So all these buttons, if you're on the shooting mode, this will show you the help. When you're in playback mode, this will delete the pic. Same way when you press the FN button here, it will take you to the function mode, but when you're in playback mode, it will rotate the pic. Yeah. Similarly, this will take you to the thumbnail mode, and this will zoom out and this will zoom in the present picture. Yeah, so let's check out some of the creative things. So you have picture effect off, you have toy camera, pop out colors, posterization colors, retro photo and whatnot. There you see. In the scene mode, you can check out your portrait or sports, action, macro, landscape, sunset. Some of the scenes modes there. Intelligent and superior auto are pretty much the full auto modes that makes the Alpha 58 a point and shoot camera mostly. Yep.